the Shake Up podcast. I'm your host and co-founder of Mr. Consistent, Jared Bell. This is a podcast where we invite friends of the brand into our studio. We get to know their story a little bit better, chat all things business, culture and marketing, all while shaking up a few cocktails.
Yes, I always had this desire to prove myself as a woman, to, be quote unquote the breadwinner, to be able to, stand for my own and live life on my own terms. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think I really tried to push boundaries and see myself not being in the box.
Hello guys, and welcome back to the Shake Up podcast. Today we are definitely shaking things up. You would be used to having Jared be your host, but I am Sarah. You may recognize me from Mr. Consistent social media. And we have a very special guest with us today. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi guys, my name is Georgie Stevenson. I'm a lawyer turned entrepreneur and I'm co-founder of Naked Harvest Supplements, all natural supplement business. Thank you for having me, Sarah.
Thank you for being here, Georgie. We are super excited that you're on the Shake Up. Now, you mentioned that you are a lawyer turned entrepreneur. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. So I came straight out of high school and had this dream of being a lawyer. I'm not going to lie, I watched Legally Blonde and I was like, this is me, this is my life. And I went straight into law, finished my law degree. I started working in a really good law firm in the city. I was doing family law. And I did really enjoy it, but also on the side, I was growing my social media and I was really into fitness and health. And there did come a point where I kind of had to pick. Yeah. And even though I really enjoyed law, I knew there was like something else out there that was like more me.
Yeah, right.
And I really wanted to live life on my own terms. So I quit my law job. Even just 1 year after finishing a 6-year degree. Yeah. And I spent a year, like almost like a gap year, just growing my social media, doing YouTube and Instagram and all that sort of thing. And then eventually I teamed up with my brother and we started a natural supplements business, which I'm sure we'll chat a little bit more about.
Amazing. I love that. That is so encouraging. At what point, I think you kind of already touched on this, but at what point in your first year of law, in like such a prestigious career, did you decide like was the turning point and that you just wanted to do something else?
There was definitely a point where I couldn't do the both things. So I guess like my stuff I was doing on the side, my Instagram, YouTube we'll call a side hustle. Mm-hmm. And I just, I was at the point where I would work. So the law firm I was at, we started at 7:30, which is outrageous.
Gosh, so early.
Why does a law firm need to be open at that time? But we started at 7:30. So I would literally like get up at 4:30, go to gym, get into the city. In my lunch breaks, I would edit YouTubes. I would get home and I would, do all the things at home. And it kind of just got to a turning point where I had to pick. Yeah. And I guess I asked myself, I was like, the status quo, the like quote unquote normal job would be the law job. And I can always go back to the degree's always going to be here. But this other thing with what I was doing with Instagram and whatnot, and I guess like I knew there was an idea blossoming. Yeah. I was like, if I give myself the space to find out what this is, well, if I didn't do it, I think I would regret it. So it was kind of that feeling of if I don't see what this thing is, I think I'm going to regret it. And if all else fails, I can just go back to law.
Absolutely. Like law was the more safe option maybe.
Yes, so safe. And very much like imagine telling your parents you're quitting your
I know, after just studying so long at uni
6 years and being like, I'm going to go off and I have actually no idea what I'm going to do. But let's see what happens.
Well, look at you now. It's clearly worked out, which is amazing. So
thank you.
That's great. Love that. Super encouraging. And you also have your own podcast, Rise and Conquer. What was your motivation for like creating that self-help kind of podcast?
So I guess for the longest time, I come from a family where First of all, I just want to say I love my parents. I love my family. Just before I get into anything. But I come from a family where my dad was the breadwinner. He had a very successful plumbing business, worked very hard, came from nothing, really built up his business where he could retire at, a young age and whatnot. And my mum was the stay-at-home mum. And I guess I always had this desire to prove myself as a woman, to, be quote unquote the breadwinner, to be able to, stand for my own and live life on my own terms. I think that's the biggest thing. And I think I really tried to push boundaries and see myself not being in the box. Yeah. And that was difficult for me because of where I came from. And I feel like so many other women feel that way, and they just they need the encouragement. They need to know they can do more and they can be more. And I guess that's where the podcast came from. Just like my thoughts, I often get people on the podcast who, are breaking barriers, who are stepping outside of the boundaries and that sort of thing. So that was kind of the start of it. I just wanted to get outside of the box and really express that to my audience.
Yeah, I love that. I've actually listened to a couple episodes of your podcast. You talk a lot about like manifestation and the power and like law of attraction and stuff. Do you want to quickly touch on that and how that has helped shape like your career path and your life?
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you're chatting about this. So, and it's funny because, I actually come from a very religious background where my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that's very like no magic, no manifesting, anything like that. Yeah. And I guess I've always believed in more a higher power, the universe, but not necessarily God. Yeah. And so I really loved when I started getting into manifesting, I really loved the concept of, believing in a higher power, believing in that sort of thing, but it being on, like attracts like. So what you put out in the universe, that's what you bring back. And it gave me a lot of responsibility, which I love. I love the fact that I believe that if I want something, sparkling water, if I want something, I can go out and get it. Yeah. So that was, I guess, my self-development journey really started with health and fitness and wanting to be better that way. And then it really developed into this self-help, and then it's blossomed into manifesting, like attracts like, energy, that sort of thing.
Oh, I love that. So cool. I'm super interested in all of that stuff.
Yeah, so. I froth that stuff.
Yeah, I love it. And what do you wish to achieve and do for your audience through Rise and Conquer? I know you've kind of touched on it a little bit already, but yeah.
I guess I really want to encourage other women to go after what they want and to believe in themselves. Yeah. To believe they are worthy of what they want, first of all, and I guess to believe that they can have the tools to go after what they want. So that was a big thing, with me deciding that I didn't want to do my law degree and I wanted to like pursue this thing. I had to have so much belief in myself. And I feel like, I don't know, as a lot of women, they often don't have that, and they can feel a bit like they need that encouragement, if that makes sense. So my biggest thing, if, I guess anyone who listens to the podcast, and if they go, actually, you know what? I can go after what I want. Yeah. And I do believe in myself. Yeah. That is all I want to do with the podcast.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's my one wish.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're doing an amazing job of it. So
thank you.
That's great. Was there a specific moment that stuck out for you where you knew that this was your path in life?
Do you mean with Naked Harvest or the podcast?
With the podcast and Naked Harvest, like just stepping away from that, box of being a lawyer and going to uni and doing that. Yeah. Was there like a specific moment where you're like, this is right? Like obviously leaving that was scary and it's kind of unknown, but when was there a moment where you're like, I've made the right decision?
Honestly, I think for so long I thought that, working was just a means to an end, in the way of you work for money and that is it. Yeah. And I think when we started Naked Harvest and, I started things like the podcast and whatnot, and I just truly I love every day. Like I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm so lucky to be living my life. I love my team. I love what I've built and I just enjoy it. Like, of course, there's hard days and there's hard work, but I love it. Can we swear in this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely.
I fucking love it. And I think that's even me and Sarah were talking off air how I have a new baby, Ivy, who is only 12 weeks old, and I'm already back at work with Tim looking after Ivy. He's taking the year off and I'm going back to work, which is again outside the box.
And like you were saying before with your mum and dad, like obviously it's the tables turned in that situation.
Yes. So, and it's a scary thing to not do life as everyone else is doing it or what you think everyone else is doing it. But that is the big thing is just I absolutely love what I do. And I think when you wake up every day and you love what you do, that was the turning point where I was like, of course I'm on the right path. Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that like in all the avenues that you've gone down, like you're blossoming and you're thriving. So thank you, Sarah. What more can you want, really? Exactly. Okay. And how would you say your mindset has changed from being a lawyer to pursuing your career now? So much. So I guess like the whole concept of, you know, to start a business, you really have to, or to start any project, you really have to believe in what you're doing. Absolutely. And bet on yourself. Yeah. And I think before I didn't have that belief and it was like, you know, I was a bit swayed in what I believed I could do. Yeah. And then since, you know, starting our business and the podcast and whatnot, I have so much belief in ourselves. Yeah. In myself, sorry. And that has been huge. Yeah. Wait, did I answer the question? What's the question? Yeah, pretty much. Like the mindset, I love that. The mindset, like how it's changed from being a lawyer. But I was also going to ask you, how has your law degree kind of helped you in like your business path? Because so much. Yeah. Like it obviously hasn't gone to waste, you know? Yeah. See, that's the biggest thing. And this is something I say in my manifesting course of any path that you pursue and do is not wrong. Yeah. So even though I spent 6 years on a degree that I didn't actually, you know, pursue, there's still so many life skills from that degree that I obviously put into, you know, our small business when we started, because when we started, we did everything ourselves from scratch. Wow. So all our contracts, you know, trademarking, all that sort of stuff. So my degree helped so much. And then also I think, you know, that 6 years before that, I wasn't ready to be, you know, where I am. Yeah. And I truly believe everything happens for a reason. Absolutely. Yeah. So everything was meant to be. And I think also like I had so many life skills just from before my actual law job. I was a law clerk in a law firm for a very long time. Wow. And just working for someone else before you work for yourself is honestly so important because you learn what sort of boss you want to be, what you don't want to do. Absolutely. And just, so many things like that. Yeah. So everything happens for a reason. Do not regret that at all. That's great. You mentioned your mindset course. For those listening at home, what is that? So it's called the Rise and Conquer Project. And basically it is a 7-week course to learning about manifestation, attracting, you know, new big things, believing in yourself, basically a self-help course. Yeah, cool. Where I teach you about manifestation. I teach you about all those concepts, and we go from, you know, A to Z. It's really like giving you all the info. And we also do like live calls and Q&As and all those fun things. And the transformations that I've had from that course is just, like out of this world. And that's like my passion project. Absolutely, so, you know, 9 to 5 is Naked Harvest and I love what I do there. But then the project and my podcast and stuff is like my little passion project I do on the side because I'm not doing enough. Never. So you work closely alongside those who are doing your course and you kind of like help them. So it's like a live course where everyone enrolls, you start at the same time, everyone gets given, you know, the content, but there's also a Facebook group. Oh, that would be such a nice community to be a part of as well. Yes. And I think also the best thing about the project too is lots of, you know, women or people who enter the course, they don't have friends who believe in manifestation, who like-minded friends. Yeah. And so it gives people a place where they can, you know, find other people who are, you know, trying to be better, trying to do those things. And it's really cool.
Wow, that's so great. And what kind of practices do you have like for yourself to set up your day in the morning? You said you do Naked Harvest 9 to 5, and then obviously you have like the podcast and your Rise and Conquer project and stuff like that. What kind of practices do you have in place for yourself to set up a healthy morning or mindset for the day?
Yeah. So I'm big on, I actually have a bit of a goal right now. So like I said, I just had a baby. So I'm easing back into workouts, but movement for me is just everything. Yeah. So I've always been a very, into sport, not really sport.
Just like not, fitness
not coordinated at all. So not
I'm the
sport.
same. I am not good at any sport. Cannot do it.
But I like working out. So movement is a big thing. And I have a goal right now of doing 3 30-minute workouts a week.
Oh, amazing.
And obviously super doable. Yeah. Well, most of the time.
Yeah.
A little bit
you
hard.
are a new mom.
Yes.
So.
A little bit hard with a newborn. But so big thing is movement. So and that's the thing, is doesn't have to be a workout. It can be if, Ivy's having a day, I'll put her in the carrier and we'll go for a walk.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Gets her to sleep and that sort of thing. And then another big thing for me is meditation and journaling.
Wow, yeah.
So I'm not a big meditator, but I'm talking like 10 minutes every day or every second day. Yeah. Life-changing.
I struggle with meditating so bad. Like,
are you someone who has like a busy mind?
Yes. I'm always on.
Yes. I'm much the same. Very type A, busy mind. And you're the person who needs it the most.
Yeah, probably.
So literally I do 5 or 10 minutes. I usually like doing guided meditations because it is
like through an app or something.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually using an app right now called Manifesty app.
Okay.
And it's really good. They have the best meditations.
I have to get onto it.
Yeah. And they're quick. Like you can do like an 8-minute one.
Wow.
And basically, if you have a busy mind, it just centers you and it gets you in a place where you can actually gather your thoughts and really, make sure that day is intentional. Yeah. Because I think the biggest thing is when you're being intentional, like a small action is going to mean so much more than when you're not being intentional and you're doing all these things. Yeah. And that's often what I'll say to Cooper is like, we'll have these meetings and I'll be like, what is the thing that is going to move the needle the most? Yeah. Not necessarily just the thing that all the other companies are doing or what we think we should do. Let's be very like intentional. And I find meditating and journaling makes me very intentional. So journaling is very much, if I'm overthinking something, if I've had a fight with my husband, if I'm, got mum guilt, I will literally just write in my journal and be like, how am I feeling? What am I worried about? Yeah. What do I want to do today? What are my goals? It could be anything. Yeah. And I feel like when you put something on paper, it has less power. Yeah. Okay. So if I put on paper, I'm having so much mum guilt. I'm leaving Ivy and I'm going to work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then I look at the page and I'm like, Georgia, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Ivy's at home with her dad. Yeah. Like she is so blessed to spend that time with him. And I can almost, it takes away the power. Yeah. And so if you're worried about something, it is like, it's huge. And I think also we can just have all these like thoughts and stuff swarming. Swarming. Yeah. Swarming. Cocktail's gone to my head, guys. And it's really hard to gather your thoughts. Yeah. And so putting down on paper, it has less power. And then also putting down on paper, it makes it so much more intentional. Because if you, for example, I love journaling what I'm currently manifesting all my goals. So if I put that down on paper and then I look at my to-do list and none of my to-dos actually have anything to do with these goals, I'm like, what am I even doing? So it's very much, especially if you're someone who lives in your head, putting it on paper is huge. Looking at you, Sarah.
Yeah, I need to start doing that for sure. Maybe I should include that in my little morning routine.
It's so small. It can be a couple of minutes. You just need a journal. You can do it on your phone. I personally like paper, but
me too. I'm a pen to paper kind of guy.
Yes, yeah. And it just helps you get clear.
Yeah, wow. And you were talking about Ivy and being a new mum. How has that kind of changed your day or like, that big adjustment from living in like your own little world bubble, with Tim and Bubble being independent, and we were saying off air like how now you've had to have someone else who's dependent on you. Like how are you finding that?
Guys, motherhood is wild.
I'm scared.
No, it's just, it has been the biggest adjustment. I was saying to Sarah offline, like I work for myself. So it's, I do life on my own terms. I, do what I want when I want. I very much I've planned my life to suit me. And then so going from that to having a little baby who is dependent on you to, sleep and eat and all those sorts of things, it was an adjustment to say the least. And I feel like, everyone tells you, oh, when you have kids, it changes your life. And you're like, yeah.
It really does.
So first couple of weeks, they were very intense and they were very wild. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. So I literally turned around to my husband and I was like, what have we done? What have we actually done?
Yeah.
But it just gets better. So Ivy's 3 months old. And the first 6 weeks were an adjustment. They were so challenging, very hard. But I feel like since we kind of, got into a routine with Ivy and we know her now, we know what she needs, it just keeps getting better.
Oh, how good.
And we found our little groove now and it's really good. And in saying that, as much as the newborn stage is, wild and it was such an adjustment, there really is no other life-changing, thing that can really make you feel the way you feel when you're a parent.
Yeah.
And having this little thing that's, dependent on you. And I'm not
so
maternal
cute.
at all.
Yeah, wow.
And obviously I die for Ivy.
Yeah. Do you feel if you're not maternal, when you weren't maternal, do you feel like it's really changed now that obviously you have your own little mini you to look after? Do you feel like that's been a big kind of change for you?
Yeah. Because when I say I'm not maternal, it's just I was never that person that I'd look at a child and be like, obviously
really?
I thought children were cute,
Yeah.
but I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah, it's a baby. Yeah. But when you have your baby, you're so different. I would die for you.
Yeah, wow.
And you very much do change. And I think also me and Tim had a very long trying to conceive journey where it took us a very long time and we had a miscarriage and I guess those sorts of challenges really made me appreciate it.
Yeah,
and now that she's here, I'm like, we had to really go through those challenging times because having a newborn is so much more challenging. And so, when I was having one of those days where everything was going wrong, she was colicky, not just crying all day, I would tell myself, do you remember how long you wanted this, Georgia?
Yeah.
And it made it it did make it easier. Yes, the journey and everything. So I know everyone's very different, but that's how.
Do you feel like time's flying by with Ivy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes and no.
Yeah, okay.
The first 6 weeks, I was like, holy shit, I feel like this has been a year. Because you're
no sleep.
No sleep. They wake every 3 hours. They feed every 3 hours and it's like Groundhog Day.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, I can't believe she's 3 months old. It's wild.
That's crazy. Oh, and what's your favorite thing about being a mum?
Literally just newborn cuddles, and I think just the fact that you're their world. Not only they're your world, but you're their world, and they're just obsessed with you and they just want cuddles from mum.
Yeah.
And they're so sweet. You can't, and it's funny because Ivy will sit there and she's like, Tim calls her a potato, but she doesn't do too much, but she'll do one little thing and we'll be like, oh, did you see that?
Yeah.
And we're obsessed with her and she's doing nothing.
Oh my gosh. I love that. That's so good.
So we very much spend we'll spend our whole weekend just we have a bit of a routine with her, a sleep and feed routine. But when she's awake, we just sit there and watch her.
Oh, so amusing.
It's weird because if you would have told me that before, I would have been like, what are you talking about?
How boring.
Yeah, what are you talking about? So honestly, everything at the moment is just, it's really beautiful.
And I feel like that kind of thing never changes, as a mother as well. You seem to be quite close with your mum.
Yes.
I'm really close with my mum, love her to bits. And I'm still mum. I always want mum. And I think that'd be really nice to have your own little mini you being mum.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also because I'm so passionate about, encouraging other women to know their worth, to go after what they want. I think having a daughter and really instilling a lot of, my beliefs, with her and empowering her will just be incredible.
Yeah, you're not only her mother, you're her number one role model, best friend.
I hope
you'll be
so.
Everything. I'm hopefully for you, but I'm sure you will be. You obviously share a lot of yourself on social media with your job and Instagram, YouTube. with having Ivy, how has that kind of changed? Are you more conscious of what you're sharing when you're sharing with her as well, or is it still kind of all online for everyone to see?
I guess I'm very much of the view of what you see is what you get. So I'm never going to curate what is happening in my life. I'm always going to just tell you exactly, you know, what is happening. Yeah. And I am sharing everything. Yeah. In saying that, I think the only change has been you just don't have as much time.
Yeah.
So everyone's probably seeing less content and it will be, you know, days later because I don't have time to post at the moment sometimes.
Yeah.
But in saying that, something I have noticed is, you know, for example, Ivy's on a sleep and feed routine where, you know, there's times she goes to bed and all these sorts of things. And for instance, I didn't realize, but lots of people don't like routines for newborns.
Right.
So I'm talking about like a routine for a newborn, and people like, you know, oh, sorry guys, it's my phone.
You're fine.
Says it's from Sydney. And, you know, people are like, you know, your newborn shouldn't be on a routine.
Yeah.
And so I think the whole parenting thing online is very polarizing. And I didn't really know that until I'm just sharing whatever we're doing and I'm having comments like that.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like I said, what you see is what you get. I'm never going to curate my feed to make other people feel, you know, good. I'm just, what we do is going to be on there. And I think that's why a lot of people follow me. So I would never change that.
Yeah. Do you find like you are getting a lot more DMs and comments of people like kind of telling you how to be a mum?
Yes, definitely. But in saying that, I have an epic community. So lots of the comments are like so lovely, so encouraging. Like,
that's so nice.
I have so many DMs every single day being like, you're doing so well. You're such a good mom. And when you are a new mom, you honestly need that because you feel like, you very much feel like, what am I even doing? You know?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel natural. Well, it didn't for me. So having other people, you know, say that is definitely encouraging. So I am very lucky, but you definitely do get, a lot more of those.
Yeah, wow. And like Instagram can be like much of a highlight reel at times. And obviously you are someone who hasn't shown just the highlights in your life. Like you've kind of shared your journey with everything, like even having Ivy. Like, has that been a challenge for you in doing that, or do you find that quite not rewarding but like comfortable to be so open with your community online?
There's definitely, you know, times where it has been a challenge to be so vulnerable, like, you know, when me and Tim had our miscarriage and talking about our trying to conceive journey and different things like that. But again, I couldn't just go, you know, on my socials and just show everyone the highlight reel because it wouldn't feel, you know, authentic. So,
And I'm sure people appreciate that so much. So, it's always good to have those kind of role models on Instagram and social media.
Well, I know I only follow people who you get their whole life, not just the highlights. So why would anyone follow me, you know, if I'm just showing the highlights?
So true. And let's chat about Naked Harvest.
Sure.
So you started the business with your brother. Mm-hmm. Yes. And you, like, what initially inspired you and Cooper, your brother, to start Naked Harvest? What was the,
Yeah. So it was interesting because at the time Cooper was a plumber. Mm-hmm. I was, you know, well, actually I had quit my law job, but Cooper had just got into self-development. So I remember when I quit my law job, he was like shocked. He was like, what are you talking about? You've just, you know, got this job where you have a high, you know, earning capacity, prestige. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I started, you know, telling him about the books I was reading and the podcasts I was listening to that made me believe that I could go after more.
Yeah.
And so he started getting into it.
Yeah, wow.
And he also had just moved to the coast. I lived in Brisbane. So he had, you know, an hour drive where he would, you know, listen to books and that sort of thing. And so he would often call me and we would chat about our ideas. And we started to really like bond over self-help.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I remember one day I was complaining to him because I was partnered with a brand, a supplement brand, and I had just found out through another source that even though on their packaging they were saying they were vegan, all natural, all these things, another friend in the business who had his own supplement company had tested it, and there was traces of dairy, there was traces of like not natural sugar and all these things.
That's wild.
So wild. And it's because the supplement industry isn't actually regulated. So it's honestly like the Wild West, and it's just not.
So they can kind of just chuck anything on their packaging.
And that's like often, like, I don't know if you know about this, but back in the day they used to have these hectic pre-workouts that would literally have ingredients that were synthetic, and they were like close to the same, you know, DNA as like meth.
Wow.
And so you get
that's insane.
You get a hectic workout, but Jesus.
Wow. Far out.
And so it very much was the normal that in supplements, it was the Wild West, and people would just put in horrible chemical ingredients. And that's why supplements were really geared to hardcore people. So, you know, strength training, you know, the bros, that sort of thing. And so I remember I had, you know, plugged the supplement business, and I was really loving their stuff. And then I found out that they were totally lying about what was in it. And
that
so
is crazy.
I went on my socials, apologized to everyone, was like, stop taking this, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
Had to just, you know, be very upfront because I couldn't handle, you know, telling people to take this product that was actually lying about what was in it.
Wow.
And so I remember complaining to Cooper about this and was like, you know, this is fucked. I can't believe this, blah, blah, blah. And then so after that conversation, he came back a couple weeks later and was like, let's start our own supplement business.
Wow.
Let's do everything right. Make sure it's quality products, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I was kind of in shock. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, that is crazy. Like, how would we have the manpower and whatnot? And so I actually said, like, no, this is too crazy at the start. And then gradually, after, you know, numerous conversations, I was like, all right, let's do it.
Let's do it. What do we have to lose?
I know. And so that's, you know, that's how it started. A very kind of, I had a problem. We wanted to fix it, and I knew if I felt this way, other people would feel this way. And also just in the supplement industry at that time, there was just not supplements that were aimed at women, that were, you know, for the everyday gym goer who, you know, didn't want to take this hectic pre-workout that made them anxious or itchy, or have like whey protein. There was not many vegan options that didn't taste like dirt. There was so many gaps in the market that we knew we could, you know, fill.
Absolutely.
And that's how it started.
Oh, that's so cool. Wow. I love that. And what role do you and Cooper each play within the company? Would you consider it to be a family-run business?
So it's me and him, so definitely family.
Little power brother and sister duo.
Little sibling duo.
Yeah.
So Cooper very much handles the logistics, the packaging. I call it the boring side.
Sounds it.
And then I'm very much the marketing, the product design, you know, the products we want and that sort of side. So we very much complement each other in what we bring to the table, which has, you know, served us well.
Yeah, wow. What was the process of kind of like concept to actually being the product on like in your warehouse? Like, how was that process?
Yeah, so it took us a good year to start Naked Harvest. There was a lot of road bumps, and especially just starting a business from scratch when you know, don't have a business degree, you just don't know. There's just so many things you have to research and you have to look into, and mistakes you have to make. So first of all, we found a product manufacturer, so someone who would actually make the supplement. And we worked with them very closely to, you know, make sure it was gluten-free, refined sugar-free, dairy-free, all these things. And we also made sure, like, we tested quite a few to make sure it was someone who was reputable, and someone, you know what I mean?
Reputable.
That's it. Someone who we trusted and had a good relationship with. And then we worked with them, so they had food techs to create the products. We would go back and forth on samples, and then, you know, we had to create our packaging, and then we had to get it filled, and then we had to do the marketing and the website, and
so many components to
lots. Oh my God.
Crazy.
Starting a small business from the start is just, it's hectic.
Yeah, wow. And you guys have obviously had like very rapid growth. In how old's your business now?
2-3 years.
Yeah,
like,
crazy.
how old is it?
Wow, that's so cool.
Probably 3 years old, yeah.
Yeah, love it. So good. With having nothing kind of similar on the market, did you see an immediate response from your customers, or did it kind of take a while to gain that trust, I guess?
I guess we definitely saw an immediate response because I already had a community. So
yeah, of course.
From the beginning, I, curated my community and they believed in what I believed. And so when I brought out a product that I believed in, of course, that translated quite well to my community.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie, there was definitely, a great reaction from the start. But in saying that, it's very much like we've been around for 3 years and we started off with a team of me, Cooper, and our project manager, Mel.
Yeah.
And then now we're a team of 16. So it's
good.
not like, we had investments or anything from the start. Me and Cooper used all our own capital.
Wow.
We had to do everything so scrappy.
Yeah.
And like, that's why, honestly, at the start, we wore all the hats. So yeah, it definitely wasn't a quick success, but I think because of my community at the start of what I had been, growing, curating for 7 or 8 years, we definitely did start off with a community.
That's great. Have you found that you've needed to take a step back as the business has grown in order to let it grow as well? Like obviously it started with you and Cooper, but have you kind of taken more of a backseat now? In that kind of thing?
Definitely. I am such a believer of zones of genius and letting people, for example, who we hire, I'm not going to micromanage everyone because we hired them for a reason.
Absolutely.
And we very much encourage, people taking responsibility and having independence in their work and going after big goals.
Yeah.
So, and I am a bit of a control freak, so
Me too.
It was a bit hard at the start.
I can imagine,
But now, for example, and this was a great process actually when I went on mat leave. So when I found out I was pregnant, we planned a lot of things in advance, but I very much had to step back and I had to let the team, take control. Yeah. And there was a lot of, me going, oh my God, but it was the best thing. And I think I've learned that 100%. You can't wear all the hats forever. At the start, definitely when you're growing your business, it's so important. But then you have to let your team do its thing.
Yeah,
and we have an incredible team. So they just absolutely kill it with everything they do.
Oh, that's so good. What kind of growing pains as kind of a young new business have you experienced, and how did you tackle them and kind of work through them?
Yeah. I think something overall I've realized is just because something worked once, it doesn't mean you shouldn't evolve and grow. I think, we've had certain successes with, certain sales we've done or certain influencers we've used and whatnot. But we've very much realized that if you want to be a business that constantly scales and grows, you have to constantly be trying new things.
Yes.
And you can't just do the same old thing.
And you need to kind of stand out and be different.
Yeah. And I think when, something does work, you do want to just do the same thing.
Yeah.
But something we've realized is you have to constantly evolve. You have to keep listening to your community.
Yeah.
And I think also the biggest thing is we are constantly trying to be better.
Yeah.
So Cooper does this thing every 3 months. He goes through every aspect of the business and he sees where could we be saving money? Yeah. Where could we be doing better with our products? Where could we, and we'll really evaluate things rather than just letting them go.
Yeah.
And even stuff like that, for example, right at the start, we had no idea about eco-friendly or anything like that. And so we ordered all these plastic bags for our supplements and we just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And then when we realized that our customers, especially a customer of Naked Harvest, they're thinking about the environment.
Absolutely.
They're eco-friendly. And so that's a huge thing we missed. And so we revamped our whole business. So everything's eco-friendly down to the sticky tape we use.
Yeah, wow.
And so there's definitely aspects where you do fail at the start and you're I've just completely missed this.
Yeah.
But as long as you're learning and as long as you're willing to, keep looking at things, keep evolving, You'll be fine.
That's great. I am in the marketing team here at Mr. Consistent, and I would love to ask, what kind of marketing do you find works best for Naked Harvest? Is it your influencer marketing? Is it your like EDMs, email marketing, social media? What kind of works best with your brand?
Yeah, so for sure, I think because I come from an influencer background, we went pretty hard, and I know it works.
Yes.
We went pretty hard with the influencers at the start, and that's such a huge aspect. But the biggest thing that we've learned with marketing is, you know, it's a lot cheaper to keep the customers you already have rather than constantly trying to attain new customers through influencers or Facebook marketing.
Yeah.
So as much as we definitely do influencers and Facebook marketing, a huge thing is we are constantly checking in with our community of what they want and what we can do to improve so they buy again, so they want to be in our community.
Yeah. Keep them coming back.
Yeah. And so we spend a lot of time and energy on that, whereas I don't know if a lot of people are doing that. So we actually have someone who, you know, will go through the customer journey, you know, with EDMs to make sure if they didn't rebuy a product, why?
Yeah.
What was there, you know, did you not like the flavor? You know, that sort of thing. And then because some people come back and they'll be like, oh, well, you know, I tried this and this happened or whatnot. Yeah. And that's great feedback for us. But also we can go, well, have you tried this product? Or let us send you out this flavor for free so you can try a new flavor.
Yeah, wow.
So we're really big on like making sure our community is okay. That's and amazing. Wanting to stay in our community because, you know, that's what I would want in a buying journey. So we try and think of that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So similar to that of Mr. Consistent, Naked Harvest markets a consumable product as an online retailer. Yeah. How do you go about marketing a consumable online and converting your customer base? Like obviously you just spoke about how you want to keep your same customers coming back, but how do you kind of go from online to converting your customer base?
I guess it's kind of like we make sure all their questions are answered. Yeah. So making sure we're really describing what the product does, what are the benefits, what does it taste like, here's reviews from other people who have, you know, tried the product and focusing on that rather than just going, hey, here's a pre-workout.
Yeah, making it like super personable and making sure you're hitting those points with them.
Yeah,
cool. Well, what else can we expect from Naked Harvest in the future? I know we spoke offline. You have something super exciting coming up very soon.
Yes. So we have our very first influencer collab with Dedicated Kate. So on good. Instagram. She's so fab. And so when we were thinking of this, we did want to create, you know, a line with a close influencer of NH who had been there from the beginning. But we wanted to make sure they were someone who really stands out in the community and really stands for what we believe in. So absolutely. Kate is just, she's so fab. She stands for self-love and empowerment and really, you know, health and fitness, but balanced. And that's what we do at Naked Harvest. So we're really proud to partner with her. And when does this podcast go live? The 25th, hey? 24th. Okay. So the collab will be live when you guys are listening. Yes. And so very exciting. So we released a protein with Kate and she chose banana split, which literally tastes like a banana split or like smoothie. So good. Like those banana lollies. Yeah. So yum. And then also a fruit tingle pre-workout. So good. So yummy. So we're really proud of that. And again, I guess also a big thing with that collab is Naked Harvest, you know, was very much based on me being the face and me being such a prominent person in the business, which obviously I still am. Yeah. But Naked Harvest is its own identity. So we very much wanted to partner with someone who really showed that too. Wow, that is so exciting. And was Kate kind of like a big part of like that whole process, like from start to finish? Yeah. So, and also we picked Kate because she actually started like, she was a customer of NH before she was an influencer. So I love that. She used to buy the products and all that sort of stuff, which was amazing. But so we did, you know, sampling with her. We did because Kate's in New South Wales. So we would send her the samples, get on a Zoom and chat. And so we did a couple of those and she's picked everything. She did the mood board for all the packaging. cooking and all that sort of stuff. So it's been
so
really
great.
cool working with her.
Oh, how excited. Well, I can't wait to try those two products.
I'll have to bring some down for you guys.
Absolutely. Can't wait. And a quick question.
Yes.
What is your favorite Naked Harvest product?
Oh, okay. So see, it's a little bit hard at the moment because it's not hard, but so one of my favorite products at the moment is Milkshake, which is our lactation drink.
Okay.
So obviously I'm not breastfeeding, but I still pump, and Ivy has my breast milk. So it really helps with boosting your supply, which when you have a hungry baby like I do, she loves her food like her mum. So I can't fault her in that. But that has been amazing for me. And a big thing I realized that on the market with lactation drinks, they usually contain dairy or gluten, whereas ours doesn't. And so it's really clean and it works really well. And then on that, my favorite sort of smoothie combo is the lactation drink or the caramel protein and then the greens powder in vanilla.
Oh, cool.
So it's just really good because you're getting your greens in the morning, which you wouldn't really do.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, I'm not getting the 5 serves of veggie in every day.
Yeah.
So greens powder makes it so much easier and ours tastes delicious, which is really hard to do.
Yeah.
It honestly,
greens powders kind of scare me because I'm like, I know you're going to taste bad.
I know.
I don't want to touch you.
It took us over 6 months to develop the greens because it was so hard to get the flavor right.
Crazy.
But I feel like we've aced it.
Yeah, cool.
And then also our pure collagen. So that is just, it's pure. It doesn't taste like anything. I chuck it in my coffee or smoothies. Yeah. For skin, hair, and nails and gut health.
Love that.
Yeah, it's really fab.
Oh my gosh.
And then also just our OG pre-workout. You can't go past it.
Yeah,
I was telling the guys here that it's like a mood enhancer.
Yeah.
It makes your workout so much better. You actually want to work out.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just go so much harder when you have a bit of pre-workout.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start getting that
you
in
have to get
before I
it,
get
Sarah,
to the gym.
For your 6-week challenge.
Oh, for sure. I need to ace this. So why not? Well, before we wrap up, where can people find you? What's your handle for Instagram and Naked Harvest as well?
Yeah, sure. So my personal Instagram is just Georgie Stevenson. Cool. Naked Harvest is just Naked Harvest Supplements. And yeah, you can, there's a website. Oh, and my podcast is the Rise and Conquer podcast.
Amazing. Cool. Well, we'll leave all those in the show notes.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And just before we wrap up the podcast completely, we have the Shake Up card game.
Okay.
So this is the Would You Rather pack. So let's get through a couple of them.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm sipping on my cocktail.
Okay. I'm going to grab. Let's do. Oh, okay.
Make it a
good
goodie.
one. Would you rather Instagram be banned forever? Oh, this one's not really relevant to you or online dating, but you're married.
I was about to say.
Let's not do that. Okay, this is a good one.
That's an easy one.
Would you rather all of your exes show up at your wedding or all of your partner's exes show up?
Guys, I met my husband when I was 17. So
okay, so
again, I like my high school boyfriend. I feel like
okay.
I'm pretty sure we're on good terms, so it would be fine. I'd be like, hey, welcome to my wedding.
Yeah. Fair. Irrelevant again. We're not picking up great ones. Okay, another one. Would you rather live the rest of your life without toothpaste or live the rest of your life without soap?
That's a hard one. I think without soap because I would use my facial cleanser to wash my pits.
Yeah.
And I need that toothpaste.
So true. And one more. I know we were chatting about this a little bit offline, so this will be good. Okay. Would you rather be too lit at a work event or be too lit at a family reunion?
Honestly, my family loves to get lit. Okay. So it would be normal. If I wasn't lit, there would be questions.
Yeah.
So probably the fam event because they've got to love you, whereas, your employees, you want to keep them and you don't want to embarrass yourself.
Absolutely.
Whereas
so
I'm not going to lie, I'll probably be lit at, any of our work parties too. But
yeah. Oh, I mean, well, we work for a cocktail company. So
I was about to say, you guys get it.
We get it. We totally get it.
That's today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, leave a review. Go show the Shake Up some love and stay connected. Don't forget you can watch all of our episodes on YouTube. Also, jump over to our Shake Up Cocktail Gang Facebook page where you can find out who's coming up on the podcast. And if you've got questions for them, I'll ask the bloody questions. You can also use the code SHAKEUP for 10% off on mrconsistent.com.au. Thank you so much for listening. And just remember, shit that's fresh.